Hello, 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 hello. Happy November, a blessed fall. Gosh, yes, blessed fall, because it's not even close to winter, but we're having a few winter days here and even in California. So, what am I going to talk about today? Well, there's a topic that is hot on my mind right now, and it's about doing it right. Doing it right. I was working with somebody here in the last week, and the comment came up about wanting to just feel good, but not having to do the work to get there. It's kind of like wanting to get to step 10 without taking step 1 through 9. You know this in yourself. I remember when I was first awakening to the spiritual path, the first several years, and I'm reading all of these books, going to different talks, seeing different teachers, and I really feel like I know it. I really feel like I got it. So I'm out there telling and teaching other people, including the girl I'm dating, you're not doing it right. You're not being present. Just be here with me, I said to my girlfriend at the time. I said, you're not even paying attention to me. Be present. And then I started going into, if you're really on this path, you're able to be with me and you're not thinking about other things. You're really here with me. And here I am, judging her, cursing her, saying she's doing it wrong rather than me really shining the light on me. So for the first several years, it was like I read all these books, thought I was already coming into this enlightened master form, and I hadn't taken all the steps 1 through 9. I was reading the books and listening to the talks and believing in what was being said, but it wasn't embodied. It wasn't fully embodied. And I can't emphasize this enough. I mean, how many amazing teachers or therapists or exalted yogis or shamans, etc., who I see are not really living what they're speaking, who are not really following through with really doing it right. They know the words, they know the teaching, but the application is sometimes maybe so, sometimes maybe not. And this is not a judgment on me or anybody else who at times fall. We're all human beings and we're all on our journey and we're all, hi little one. Got our little Monsty cat down here scratching up the couch. But we're all on our path, so it's not that just because you're teaching something that you're supposed to have it perfectly embodied. It's just within ourselves, we got to recognize that if we are teaching something, that we're also taking responsibility that we may not have it fully mastered ourselves. So it's a shame that we pretend that we do. Or that we don't share and take responsibility like, I really don't have all this down. I'm just sharing from where I'm at. And here's our little kitty cat, if you haven't noticed. So I'm just sharing from where I'm at. And where I'm at it's most important that you know where you're at. You're not pretending and playing that you're someplace else. So how does this come around to doing it right? Good question. Well, when I was talking with her, or this client, I was saying, we're all pretending, we're all not wanting to take all the steps. That's how this is coming to do it right. The master I work with, he's really speaking about how do you do it right, quote unquote right, because right, for a lack of a better word, we'll use the word right. How do you do it right? How do you live and be truly, fully authentic? And from that authenticity, not just being authentic and being an ass, but being authentic and really living aligned with the teachings that bring you closer and closer to presence, to truth, to godliness. How do you do it right? I used an example. You see this painting right behind me. Well, I use that as an example. It actually was, the corners of it were, they were coming apart. And I take full responsibility of this. I have a nature of, like these little tedious things of like putting that back together is like, it feels like such an unnecessary level of work that I just don't want to do. So I sometimes often will go at these things and just want to get it done. And so I want to take a shortcut. So how can I get it done quickly and get it done well? Usually that doesn't come synonymously together. Or it might be done quickly, but how do I follow through and have it done well? But I'm always looking for how can I do it quickly as well. Part of my nature, part of most of our natures. Well, so I turn it around, I take out the plexiglass, I take out the painting, I take out the backboard, and I have to pull back a lot of the staples that hold the backboard and everything in place on the backside. And then I hammer in. What I do is I hammer in all the sides, I get some new nails and hammer it all in. And it's not perfect, it's not all glued in there with the perfect coloring that was there before. There's actually heads on the nails that weren't there before. I'm okay with that. It's what I have. That's probably a partial shortcut, and I know the teacher I work with probably would have gone to the extra extremes to do it exactly perfectly. But I said, these little heads pointing out, that's okay for me. But then I'm going back and I have all the staples back. I have the whole frame tight, it's strong now, everything's ready. I put the plexiglass back in, Veronica helps me. Then I put in the painting, that goes in well. But when I'm putting in the backboard that holds everything tight together to the front, and I'm trying to get it in and jam it between the staples, it's getting all jammed up, it's not working. I try to push the staples back more, get it in there, send back part of the staples, it's not working, so then I'm pissed. And I'm checking myself. Jason, you have an opportunity to be angry, that's fine, but do you just want to get this done, or do you want it done well? And I say, I want it done well, I want it to look well. Well, it's going to require you to take out some of these staples. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to do that. That's fine. I'll take out the staples. So I'm a little frustrated, but I drop it. I go, okay, so now I got to take out the staples. So the first tool I have doesn't work, and I'm trying to make it work, and then I go find another tool. It works. I take out half the staples, figuring I can get it in between. If I get two sides without staples, I can get it all in. Doesn't work. I'm a little frustrated again. Jason, do you want it done well? Yes. Okay. So I take out every staple. I just go through the whole process, take everything out, get it in there, find a staple gun, staple it all in, and plug it in, and now it's done well. And I took these steps and I resisted some of the process. But what it required, in order this to be done well, it required all of the steps. It required taking out all the staples, taking all the pieces out, washing the glass, oiling the wood, doing everything for it to be done well. And I would have actually saved myself a lot of time if I would have just gone through the original process. Take all of the steps to do it well, which is what we are asked to do in life. Where are we trying to take shortcuts? Shortcuts in our relationship, in our inner work, in our job, etc. And it's not that a shortcut is bad. Sometimes they'll work for you. Sometimes we need to take a shortcut. But I'll tell you, with our inner work, there is no shortcut. And really in life, there are no shortcuts that really are lasting. The wise men that I know who are much my elder, they all say the same thing. Just do it right. Just do it well. And doing it well is without a shortcut. And so what? Maybe you get away with 15 minutes or an hour here and there. But what has it really saved you? Why not just come into that space of presence, do the work from that place of purity of intention. I want to do this well, so I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do what's needed to do it well, and do it. And maybe it looks just as well as somebody else's who took 30 minutes less, but you're putting your purity of intention, you're putting your time, you're putting your consciousness into that work. So spread it with that consciousness. Do your work well. Do it well the first time. That makes it easier for everybody to do it. And do it well in your relationships. So the things that are coming up, For instance, you see the same thing that you're doing, the same blaming, the same projection games, the same lack of communication keeps coming up, and you don't want to address it. You just keep wanting to blame. You keep wanting to do this. You want to take the shortcuts. I want to feel better, but I'm not willing to do the work. I have a client, God bless her, she's amazing, and she doesn't, she's sick, and then she's also not eating well, so she's eating a lot of sugar and doing all of this stuffing of food, which is part of what she's addressing, but that sugar is not treating her well. But she wants to feel well, and I'm like, well, how are you going to feel well when you're already sick and you're shoveling sugar down? You've got to take a step somehow, some way. What can we do today that will help you get out of this cycle of shoveling sugar? You need to get well. You're not going to do it with shoveling sugar down all day. That suppresses the immune system, feeds the bacteria, feeds the virus, whatever it is. So let's drop the pattern, the habit that is plaguing doing it right. And we can't just drop it. It's part of who we are. It's part of who we've become, are these negative loops. So how do we start to address it? So whatever tools you use to address these things lovingly, embracingly, strongly, do that inner work. It's time. And if you don't know how to do it, find a teacher, find a guide to support you. Become their apprentice if you can't afford it. Ask for some sort of way of support. And get the job done well. And the biggest job is ourselves. We're kind of, as my teacher would say, we're not the sharpest tools in the shed, but we can get the job done. But in order to sharpen those tools, we need support, and we need those tools, and we need to do the work. So I'm inviting you to do the work. Are you ready? Are you ready to do it right? All right, off the soapbox. The question is, am I ready to do it right? I'm here, I'm showing up, I'm sharing. My intention is to live by that example and live that a little bit purer each day. So I did finally get the lesson with this, and this was just yesterday. So I still have work to do. We all still have work to do, so embrace that. Many blessings to you. Doing it right, and when you're not doing it at the highest level that you can, doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't mean that gives you a right to beat yourself down. It just is an opportunity. I'm judging myself. I'm getting bound up here. I'm trying to take these shortcuts. Catch whatever it is. Confess it, acknowledge it, and address it. How can I do this next time honestly, more purely, doing it well the first time without taking the shortcut? All right. Many blessings to you. I hope this is of some form of service to you. Namaste. Hi, Monsty. I know. So there's our little kitty cat. She's love. I hope you all are well. She does it right all the time. Take care.